Hey everyone, it's Tiffany T, and I'm recording day 10 of Wade and T's 30-day vulnerability challenge. Got my two pups here with me, so I'm sorry if they start barking. But today was actually a really unusual day because I kind of recorded snippets throughout the day of like what I was thinking about, what I was going through. And it was so cool too. And then everything changed tonight when I saw Wade's day 10. Wade, you are just so awesome, so amazing. Like, wow. I just really am speechless. I was going to tailor my video around to what I've been learning the past couple days, and that's just about, really noticing like my faults and being mature enough to admit it. And to admit that I'm stubborn and I'm egotistical at times, and sometimes it's either my way or the highway, and sometimes that works for me, sometimes it doesn't, and I really think what's important is that we have to find what works for us in this sense of for the greatest good. So I am including some of the clips from today, even though I hope somebody just didn't fall down the stairs. It's always fun in my world. Honey, are you okay? Hopefully he's okay. Anyway. But yeah, I've just been really learning and growing in this whole process. Like always, and that's what I love about doing stuff like this. Even if I don't do it perfect, even if I do it half-assed sometimes, which I tend to do. I mean, I'll be the first one to admit it. There's just something about it that builds character, it builds strength, it builds something inside of you that you wouldn't normally do, like outside of your comfort zone. So I'm going to be sharing a few clips from my day and kind of what my thoughts were. A lot of it has to do with self-accountability. And, I really like what Wayne Dyer says. Wayne Dyer was one of my utmost favorite gurus, or I don't even know what the hell you call him. I mean, he literally, the book The Power of Intention changed my life when I was 16. And he's got this book called 101 Ways to Transform Your Life. And number 3 and number 6 really resonate with me. And Wade, I was thinking about you this evening with these 2 points when I was watching your video. By the way, it was just completely captivating. And the fact is in life, you guys, what Wade speaks about is truth. It's fucking truth. The utmost truth. And a lot of people won't go there because it's scary. I mean, look at what's happening in the Catholic Church. It's not to downplay any religion at all. It's not my come from. But they relocate their molesters instead of taking justice. And that's, in my book, that's sad. But Wade, thank you for being you and for being the advocate that you are for something that you feel so passionately about, because it's obviously affected you. I do have a few things I would love to tell you over the phone, not publicly. So let's chat sometime. But Dr. Wayne Dyer says that we need to become aware that there's no accidents in our intelligent universe. Okay, so I'll repeat that. There's no accidents in our intelligent universe. Which do you know what that means? Like, we need to really realize that everything that shows up in our life, everything that we're going through is teaching us something on some level. And what are you doing? OMG. No, that is not for playing. Okay, sorry. No, where's your toy? Anyways, everything that we go through in life it shows up for a reason. And it has something to teach us. There's a deeper meaning that we can't make sense of. Our brain doesn't work 100%. Like, I'm not sure if everybody grasps that or not. But our brain literally doesn't function at 100%. You know, I mean, Einstein, like the geniuses of this world, were considered to only use 12 to 13% of their brain. And then Einstein couldn't even remember his own address or his way home. His wife had to put his address in his pocket, in his shirt pocket every day so that he would find his way home. And then sometimes he would even forget that it was there. But that's because his consciousness, his thinking was on a completely different realm, completely different time and space other than this worldly, earthly dimension and all the lower vibrational aspects that make it up. I mean, anyways, so we should appreciate everyone and everything, every situation, whether it's unfortunate or fortunate. We should appreciate it because it's teaching us. It's teaching us in some way, some shape, some form of either how to be or how not to be, or it's teaching us about something, whether it's love, compassion, fear, patience, whatever it is. So I completely believe it. Again, everything that I talk about is just my perspective. It's not that I'm trying to preach to the choir or whatever. But what happens to us in our lives, like, have you ever heard that saying, I forgot who it was, but they say it's circumstances that reveal a man, not make him. Like, everything that we go through has an inward effect. So what, in my opinion, I should be doing first is looking more inward instead of outward. Because once you start to have that paradigm shift, you're able to get on that level. And I'm not there like 100% as I'd want to be, but I've got experience in it. And that's why I welcome people like Brian King and people that challenge my thinking. Because I'm one of those people that I want to think outside of the box. I want to be challenged. I want to grow. I want to learn. I don't want to just stay in my little bubble, even though I love it. I mean, even though it's comfortable, like, what the fuck good does that do? And I loved one of Brian King's posts tonight that I responded to. It's talking about being in that state of joy and gratitude, trying to reach it. And once we reach it, we should give back. And I've been more kind of torn in the sense that I need to be that, because I don't like the word can't, but I don't genuinely, from my heart, give back unless I'm being that. Because otherwise I'm seeking it, and like the selfish aspects of me come out. And this is just me being completely vulnerable. So for me, I need to look inward on why I'm here. Why did I choose to incarnate at this time, this realm, this dimension, this space and time? And instead of focusing outward in the physical world and everything that entails of it, I should be focusing on the inner world. And then that, again, you know, Wade, you were talking about forgiving and forgiving yourself. And, you know, honestly, I was molested when I was 4. However, I didn't have the same experience that you did, and I'm really sorry that you did. I'm actually not sorry because I know you have to go through that, but my mom immediately called the police and actually held the guy there until the cops got there. So I had a voice. I had confirmation that I was doing the right thing, and I know you were robbed of that. And I'm sorry, but I love your conviction and your passion now about helping people in that area, because you're obviously, you can relate to it really good. But I really believe that healing all starts to take place, at least just from my experience, in my almost 35 years of life, which isn't that much in human years, is that in order to move forward, to even take the first step without seeing the staircase, is to forgive ourselves. And forgive ourselves for everything, for all of our transgressions. And not beat ourselves up so much. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all so cool. We really are. And we're our own worst enemies. But we need to forgive ourselves for our own transgressions, and then also forgive others for theirs, because I'm sure not everybody walks around with the intention of like so much hatred. It's just we all leak. We leak these feelings that we don't deal with in life. And when you stop, or when you don't express yourself healthily, I don't want to say properly because I don't believe in that, but it starts to come out in other ways. And then all of a sudden, you're like the most person that you're closest to, you're fucking biting their head off for no apparent reason, but that's just because you're leaking on them. I don't know if leaking makes sense, but it does to me. It's kind of what I learned in counseling growing up. But it's like we're projecting our shortcomings on other people. But I can tell you from personal experience that healing first begins with us, and that's it. Like, period. If we can't learn how to heal ourselves and heal what's going on and make peace with what's going on, even though we may not like it at times, at least make peace with it. Until we do that, there's really not going to be any progress. So I choose to see that mistakes are like stepping stones and lessons for soul growth. And according to Dr. Wayne Dyer, he says that, who, like I said, is my all-time favorite. He says that we need to release ourselves. We need to release ourselves from this inner turmoil, this inner tyranny of self-discrimination, and make the decision to be free. Because at the end of the day, we all have that one decision in common. And that's, we have the freedom to choose. To choose. Do you know how powerful that is? I don't care where you live. I don't care what religion you are, what race you are, whatever you are. You have a choice. You have a voice as well. And you are free to choose whatever you want. So I had an example of this the other day happen to me with somebody, one of my friends, followers, subscribers who's been with me from day one. And he was saying that he doesn't feel like he's got the choice to choose anything because of the country he lives in and all this death that's happening around him. But I was like, you know what? I know someone who lives in the same exact country that you do. And they see things completely opposite. And you do have a choice. You do have a choice. We have a choice here in the United States to break the law and go to jail, or to choose not to. If we don't want to do something, we really don't have to. However, that means that we're going to have to pay consequences. So, in releasing ourselves from this inner tyranny of self-discrimination and make the decision to be free and release everything that's happened to us, which has happened for a reason, I think we get filled with, when we get filled with an absence of self-forgiveness, that's when we're full of our incriminations, and we start to be our own worst critics, and we start to think about, geez, I should have done that better, or I should have done this better. We're full of incriminations about what we did, or what we shouldn't do, or what we should have done. And all those things are really kind of messages we're sending to the universe saying, hey, God's plan doesn't work and mine does. And, you guys know I'm not super religious. However, I do believe in God. I know from my own eyes and my own being, my own infinite conscious being that I am, that there is multiple realms and dimensions, and in my opinion, there's a God. But that's basically saying, when we're sending those signals out to the universe, that we're doing our plan. Even though we are co-creators in this life, there's a huge, bigger picture that's way more vast than we are, that we could never even imagine, because again, we can't think with 100% capacity of our brains. So it's really an insidious thing to think, or to say, if you think about it, because at the end of the day, I mean, everything we've done, everything we've experienced up to this point in our life, and that's now over, we've learned something from it. We've grown from it. Whether we've liked the way we've grown, or we don't like the way we've grown and we find ourselves stagnant, we've grown and we've learned. And I think that's what life is about. A bunch of these learning I meant to say experiments and experiences, but I'm dyslexic too, so I combine those. So, in a more simple term, I think we just need to forgive ourselves and move on. At least I know that's how it's been for my experience. And I mean, I've only been going at this a couple years. From when I was down in the dumps wanting to kill myself, to where I was killing myself every day, to where I just didn't want to live. And I was just a mess. Those of you that know me, when I was in that state, I always hear you say, wow, I can't believe you made it out. I can't believe you're alive. I thought for sure I was going to be at your funeral. And that's sad for me to think that my own dear friends thought that. That makes me sad for them too, because they probably are like so freaked out. I know Devette was like, and my mom especially, she was like, Tiff, I was just waiting for that call. My daughter was going to be dead. And I'd have to go claim her body in a coroner office or whatever, wherever they take your body. And to hear that, it's like, whoa. To reflect back on that and see how far you've come is like, whoa, too. So I think there's something to be said about perception, because I personally don't think anybody's right, and I don't think anybody's wrong. I think it all lies in the eyes of the beholder. And at the end of the day, who are we to say if it's right or wrong anyway? I mean, again, I always go back to do whatever you're going to do as long as it doesn't hurt someone else or yourself. I mean, who am I to judge? I'm not anybody to judge, but I just think we beat ourselves up so much. We're our own worst critics. And instead, we should just be promoting self-love more. And Wade, I just thank you so much too. I really, really admire you. I admire your strength. I admire your vulnerability. I admire your manliness, your true manliness. Not this like, oh, I'm macho. Fuck that. No, you're a true man. Just like when I talk about Brian King and his sensitivity, that's a fucking real man. I'm sorry, but actually I'm not sorry. That it takes a real man to go to those depths and be so in touch with yourself and your heart that you put yourself out on the line so people can learn. And Brian made this post this evening that was so beautiful. He was at the park, and I'm sorry, Brian, I hope you don't mind I'm sharing this. Obviously you don't, because it's public. But he was at the park, and he said he was looking around, and he's in his wheelchair, and he was watching the other parents play with their kids, like, play physically, and Brian's in a wheelchair. But his perspective on it was so freaking cool. He's like, I get to play with my kids in a different way. It's like a stimulation of mind. And Brian, your kids are lucky to have you as a father. Really, no, I'm sorry, I take that back. They're blessed. Wade, your son is blessed. And I hope that whatever goal you're trying to fulfill with finding and someone to co-create another life with, I thought that was so cute. I wish you well on that, and I hope that you can make that happen. And holy shit, I just realized I've been taping for 20 minutes. I might not include those snippets from earlier today then. I think I got my message across. I don't know. I'm super tired though. It's like, I don't even know what time it is. Oh, 111, 111. You know what that means? In angel numbers, it means to pay close attention to your thoughts because they're quickly manifesting. It's like the universe is taking a snapshot of your thoughts. So make sure that they're good. I'm glad mine are. So until then, till tomorrow, day 11. And Wade, woohoo! We've made it this far. 10 days. That's huge for some people. So till day 11. I hope you guys all keep purposely loving life and living it up, because as you know, I know, I will. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.